Delta, still crying the same tears. From Emmett to Nolan, how many more years? Copper blood in these waters, Most High see us here. Peace be still, but the truth gonna appear. Emmett Till, young boy whistling in the store. White lies turned to lynch and dragged him from the door. Beaten, shot river, swallowed him whole. Open casket, mama showed the world his soul. Nolan Wells, 18, boat ride on the 4th. Only black in the circle, now they say he drowned for. Horn Island whispers, friends came back without him. Mississippi history, still hunting, still doubting. Same state, same pain, different name. Black boy lost in the Delta rain. When will it change? Lord, when will it change? Ancestors screaming, we never left this stage. 1955, Chicago boy down south for the summer breeze. Money, Mississippi, wrong place for a black team to breathe. Brian stole maybe a whistle, maybe just a smile. Jim Crow code broken, now they coming in the night. Wild Roy and Malone snatched him from his uncle's floor. Tortured that baby, fanti round, body in the Tallahatchie roar. Mutilated face, mama said let the world see. Acquitted by all white jury, not guilty, set him free. Sparked the movement, Montgomery rose from the flames. But the Delta dirt still holding black boys' names. Emmett was 14, just a child in his prime, lynched for existing in a twisted mind. Emmett Till, Nolan Wells, Delta shadows ringing bells. Black life cheap in these haunted lands. Most High coming with justice in his hands. 2026 July 4th, independence gone wrong. Broke the Horn Island with the crew, singing freedom songs. 18 years young, big heart, only copper in the mix. Friends white as the judge that let killers walking. 55 disappeared that day, body found on the shore 2 nights later. They say drowning, no foul play, but the family know better. Questions swimming deeper than the Gulf water's cold. Why leave your phone? Why the silence from the foe? Mississippi again, history echoing loud. Ben Crump calling for truth, independent. Autopsy proud, was it accident or the past rising from the mud? Black boy with white friends, trust issues in our blood.
Why the same soil claim my sons? Ancestor never left, we still the chosen one.
From Till's open casket to Nolan's unanswered call. In time signs, Leviathan rising, watch the fall. No hate, just black love, we hold each other tight. But stop crashing out on each other and demand what's right.
Peace be still,
Through the storm we prevail,
Father's child.
we shall not fail. Both in Mississippi, Delta's cruel embrace. One lynched open, one body lost without a trace. Emmett's killers bragged after the verdict came. Nolan's story fogged in speculation and shame. 14 or 18, young kings taken too soon. Waters claim the bodies, but the spirit touched the moon. Same fear, same doubt, same racist undercurrent flow. But we wiser now, cameras, voices won't let go. Indigenous copper, mountain builder stand tall. We walk together, ancestors answer the call. No more silent nights, no more cover graves. Justice for Emmett, justice for Nolan. Raise the blade. Hell no, but our spirit never failed. We got black love revolution now. Most High know my heart, make it right somehow.
Peace be still,
Peace be still. From Till to West, the story's still real. Let the world see, let the truth be free. Let the world see, let the world see. Let the truth be free.
Right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, let's get ready to get into it. Okay, well, let's see who's in here. Lillian, DJ The Truth TV. All right, let's get into it. Buckhorse DC. Donna is here. All right, Christopher Perkins, Roger, Desmond, Dark Tube, 57 Beige Fox. Let's get it, Love Christy. Pearly is here. Simply Sandra. All right. BBM, Queen Shay, Regina. All right, KQ, I see you, beloved. Aqua Girl Rising, Red Wine Entertainment. Shout out to all of my loyal royals. I see you at Crazy Beach Aries. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. All right, and a big shout out for my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. So with that being said, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Thank you in advance.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find her products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. Okay, so while we're waiting, let's talk about a couple of things. Because one thing that I realized last night is that Warren, okay, Judge Ashley Coe's stepson, Warren, has come out and broken his silence. Now, mind you, he did an interview. There's two parts to it, I guess. The first part, he really wasn't talking about much. I listened to it. Put a 1 in the chat if you all want to hear it while we're waiting. It's about maybe 15, 16 minutes long. Put a 1 in the chat if you all want to hear it. I'm not going to show it on the screen simply because I don't have permission to use it, but you all can listen to the audio. So 1's in the chat if you all want me to play that. Okay, so you do. All right, like I said, everyone, please like and share. Hold on just a second, beloved. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, okay. Here's what we're gonna do. So Comedy Hype did a reaction to the video. So I'm gonna show Comedy Hype's version of the video. Okay. Yeah, because they have a condensed version. And so that'll be good. I'm gonna share my screen. Like up, everyone. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. And mind you, I find it interesting that he did this interview with none other than the raccoon, Officer Tatum. Okay, please pay attention. That's who he did the interview with. Okay, so let's get into it.
Respond to accusations that he, along with others, may have fatally attacked Wells at some point during a trip to Horn Island, Mississippi on July 4th. If you can recall, Wells would end up going on a trip to Horn Island with a group of friends, including Hudson, in which later that day his friends would return, but he would not. Now, this would go on to spark immediate questions and concerns from Wells's parents. After a 2-day search and rescue, Wells would be found washed ashore on July 6th, around where he was last seen. Now, what would occur after his disappearance from several people, including his family, would be considered questionable, such as Wells allegedly leaving his phone with his friends while wanting to stay back on the island because he met a girl he liked, or his keys and phone not being immediately given to his parents, in which Wells's phone would reportedly have to be tracked down by a family friend. Now, in his new interview with the New York Post, it appears that Hudson is pushing back on claims that he would do something to his longtime friend, along with the dynamic of race being in connection to the case. He would continue with, "There's no facts out, just a lot of rumors. That's just how the internet is today. That's really it. It's horrible." Now, at this time, it doesn't appear to be a lengthy interview, as the two quotes mentioned in this report are the only things that have been released from the story. But it clearly shows that Hudson is denying all claims made against him. Now, just a few hours that would be released on Tuesday night, we would hear more from Hudson, as he would have his first on-camera interview with political commentator Officer Tatum. In the interview, Warren would describe Wells as a brother and reveal that it was nearly 30 people in their friend group that would travel to Horn Island that day.
We had roughly 20 to 30 people coming on 3 separate boats with us. And so we were all following each other out there as one big group, 20 or 30 people spread out, where we all met at the dock before, and then we departed to go to Horn Island. It wasn't just, there were so many people, we had to split up between 3 boats, and we all left and all got there at the same time. I mean, Horn Island on the 4th of July is the most popular day to be on the water on, throughout the entire Gulf Coast. Roughly probably 2 to 3, maybe even 4,000 people out there. There were boats lined up off the island. I mean, there was one row of boats, and then there was another row of boats, and then there was a third row of boats.
Yeah.
I mean, there was people lined up all up and down the island. So we were parked on the north side, on the west tip. It wasn't just there, but just where we were, I mean, there was easily 1,000 people. It wasn't just us. Nolan was on Wyatt Pyron's 22 Triton on the way out.
Now, at one point in the interview, Warren would go on to express that he felt Nolan appeared fine every time they would speak on the island that day.
I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. In a group, I was not focused on anyone solely, like looking and pointing anyone out. I mean, I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, everybody my age and even people older. I mean, it was just a regular thing. We're all used to this. We've been out to the islands before. My buddies don't just go out to the island on 4th of July, but they go out, every weekend. I talked to Nolan, and, Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And I mean, Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him. We had just regular conversations. Nolan was making me laugh. I had a couple conversations with Nolan and Javon, Nolan and my buddy James. I talked to Nolan a couple times, but it wasn't like I was strictly sitting there talking to Nolan the whole day. I mean, there was hundreds of people I knew out there. So,
yeah.
Now, just as Hudson would appear to describe departing the island at 4:30 p.m., as mentioned in reports, the interview will be cut short in order to tease a future clip.
No more buying expensive.
Well, let me tell you all something. Here's the thing that I find interesting. Now, he's all of a sudden coming out of the woodwork. Hold on. He's all of a sudden comes out of the woodwork, and the first person he does a sit-down interview with is Officer Brandon Tatum. Now, what did I tell you all a few days ago, beloveds? I told you all that they get these people like Officer Tatum, a whole raccoon, right? They get people like him to sit down and talk with people like this so that it doesn't look like there's a racial element. So it doesn't look like, oh, he's racist or he did anything. And not to mention, Brandon was caping for him the whole time, acting as though he were there, acting as though that there's some way that he knows exactly what happened. And then he kept saying, I got the facts. I got the proof. This is what Brandon kept saying. And then he would say, thank you. Predator said, you called it, Queen. Okay. Now listen. Brandon, and also KQ, beloved, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, here's the thing. So Tatum kept saying things like, oh, I got the proof, and like, you don't have any proof. All you have is what he told you. What are you talking about? Then he was like, yeah. Now, mind you, what he was saying that he had proof of was nothing important. He kept saying there wasn't just 2 or 3 boats there. Okay, there was hundreds of people there. It wasn't just about 3 or 4 of y'all on a deserted island. Nobody ever said that in the history of talking about this situation. No one ever said that. Okay, so where did he get that from? He's just using that to paint a narrative, to try to make it seem as though people have been lying. When in fact, if anyone has been wrong about anything that we've assumed, well, that hasn't been proven yet, and it won't be proven, okay, until the investigation is complete. But let's continue.
Warren's stepmother, Judge Ashley Cole, would speak out on behalf of Warren when Wells's body was first discovered. On Facebook, she would say, "No one in our family is trying in any way to impede with the investigation by law enforcement or to otherwise hamper the family and law enforcement's quest for answers." Warren was interviewed by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department and cooperated fully. He saw Nolan last around 3 p.m. on July 4th. They left around 4:30 p.m. when the boat was taking on water and they had an issue with the bilge pump. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends. Now, we have to note the timing of Hudson's response appears to be somewhat calculated, given that Wells would be laid to rest on Monday, and on Wednesday being the day attorney Benjamin Crump and Wells's family will now release the preliminary findings from their independent autopsy. From the looks of this, Hudson may be wanting to get ahead of another wave of accusations that will be made against him as the early findings of the independent autopsy are set to be released. As mentioned, Wells will be laid to rest on Monday, and one of the biggest questions that came up during his service, did any of his accused friends attended? Upon looking online, from photos and reported accounts, it does not appear that none of the accused would attend the 18-year-old's memorial service. Now, former Mississippi judge and attorney Carlos Moore, who has been following the case and speaking out, would document his travels attending Wells' service in person, where he would run into some of Wells' other friends, and would further shed light on feelings about Nolan being left that day. Moore would write, "Before leaving, I was happy to meet and greet two of Nolan's real friends, as depicted here. Real friends show up in moments like these and never desert someone on an island with no answers or accountability. Proud of these guys and praying for their continued strength as they navigate life without their guy, Nolan."
We do know that justice swings one way when it comes to white people and another way when it comes to others. Talk a little bit about what can be done with this judge speaking out prematurely as a sitting judge. What could be done to her?
I understand that there have already been judicial complaints filed against her with the Mississippi Commission on Judicial Performance. They should open an investigation and they will make recommendations to the Mississippi Supreme Court on how she should be disciplined.
Will we know anything about that from those complaints? How does that go?
You will not learn it until something is filed with the Supreme Court. The Commission's investigation is private. So once it becomes public record, once it's filed, the recommendations are filed with the Supreme Court, and we will know that's when we are here.
Now, as mentioned by Warren's stepmother, he is saying that Nolan wanted to stay back as a way to push back on any claims that he was deserted. From the looks of the case, it appears that Warren and his family are the only ones of the accused talking and defending themselves from any unfavorable allegations. It is unclear if Wells' other friends from the trip also plan to speak out. Now, for many, the findings from Wells' autopsy will help narrow things down on what happened to him that day and answer whether it was an accidental drowning with no witnesses or someone on the island would fatally harm him. The first results of Wells' independent autopsy is set to be announced this morning at the 117th NAACP National Convention in Chicago. Let's talk about it more in the comments below. Now that we've heard from Warren Hudson, how do you feel about his solo response? And should the other friends from that trip finally come forward to tell their side?
Okay, well, all I have to say is this. Yeah, it was very strategic and clearly planned for him to come out all of a sudden during, right before, on the eve of the autopsy being released, as well as after the funeral. I think that was all a part of it. And like they said from Comedy Hype, basically to try to, quell any other rumors or any other speculation or accusations that may arise after the autopsy report comes in. Roger says, "I don't believe him, Queen." I don't believe him either, beloved. And I find it very interesting that all of a sudden now here he is. And also, here's another thing. When I listened to that interview last night, Brandon Tatum, the raccoon, He was just sitting there acting like they were best friends, like he's known him for years. He was like, yeah, we went to the island. We went to where it was. And, he was just like, yeah, I spent all day with him and he's a great kid and all this and that. Okay, I'm sure he is. He's on his best behavior. Okay, but why did that nice kid that you're talking about, Mr. Tatum, why did they lie about that boat taking on water when they said that they called Cito? Because Cito said they did not. Okay, said they did not come and get them. They did not do the tow. As a matter of fact, let me pull up the receipt because there was a whole news broadcast about that I didn't even realize that I missed. Here it is right here.
Honor the short life of Nolan Wells as the investigation into how he died intensifies. Inside this massive church in his hometown, a huge turnout is expected, and his mother is planning a fitting celebration.
I know if Nolan was here, he'd be like, Mom, just keep talking to the people, keep telling my story, keep telling your story. So that is going to be my plan.
Reverend Al Sharpton will deliver Nolan's eulogy as demands for justice are growing. According to a newly released incident report, his mother reported her 18-year-old son missing at around 12:22 a.m. on July 5th.
Please report her 18-year-old son, Nolan Wells, missing last seen at 3 on Horn Island.
His body was found a day later on the northwest tip of Horn Island. Nolan went on an Independence Day boat ride with friends to the island just off the Mississippi coast, but his friends returned to the mainland without him. In audio of a call obtained by NBC News through a records request, someone on the boat reported a mechanical failure to a private towing company.
I want to get this boat unsank and towed back.
The towing dispatcher reached out to a local boat captain to help.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island. He wants you guys to go out there and unpump the boat and then tow it in.
But the company says it did not end up towing the boat, saying to NBC News in a statement, before assistance was rendered, the vessel owner advised that sea tow was no longer needed because help had already been obtained. Sea tow's involvement concluded at that point. Now to say goodbye while struggling with a haunting mystery.
I think we all still stand behind the parents and just want them to, get their piece and their questions answered. I think we all still stand behind the parents and just want them to, get their piece and their questions answered. I think we all still stand behind the parents and just want them to, get their piece and their questions answered.
Seemed like she was glitching. Okay, so with that all being said, you all did hear that, right? You all did hear that, right? Barbara said, so who towed the boat? I'm guessing no one towed it. I'm guessing no one towed it, beloved, which makes me have more questions. Why would they call saying they needed a tow and they were taking in water when in fact the boat never got towed? Okay? The boat never got towed. I'm sorry, make that make sense. Because they came out the other day and said that the boat was towed to a private residence. Isn't that what they said? Y'all don't find that interesting? So it was never towed. So what's the story here? Okay, I have several questions. Now, with that all being said, we only have a few minutes left, and it's going to be showing, the autopsy is going to be shown on the Griot, just as the funeral was streamed on there also. So I'm just waiting, and while we wait, let's just go to a few videos. I'm going to just pull up my TikTok. As a matter of fact, no, I'm going to pull up these couple of videos. Hold on.
I just thought about the significance of what's about to happen on Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. Think about it. They're offering a six-figure value for information. They're having the NAACP convention in all places. Chicago, the home of Mamie Till Mo. Emmett Till.
Sorry about that. I had to take that off. I think it's about to start. So let me go to the channel. Yeah, they're starting. Here we go.
7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, one more time here. 1, 2, 3. We're good? All right. Okay, microphone number 1. Podium microphone number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You're all good? All right.
I'm going to play a video while we're waiting for them to get started.
Crump decides, I want to show my cards. They did something to that boy, and Ben Crump can't hold his peace. We're about to find out some real serious information, people. Information that's going to lead us down a path to justice. Justice for Nolan Wells, and justice for others who have been wronged in the state of Mississippi via racial hostility. And Elmo ain't got to say it. There's enough black folks in the United States to say it for him. July 22nd, 2026 is on. The truth is going to come out. I can't wait.
All right, speaking about the Nolan Wells case, now that I'm a little bit better because that funeral really upset me and it made me so emotional because I thought about what if it was my kid, you know what I'm saying? But Nancy Grace was speaking to one of the people, I forget what the guy was who found Nolan Wells' body. It was the person who found his body. First of all, Nancy Grace is one bad. You don't. She gonna get the truth out of your ass and make you look like an ass. She caught him up in so much it ain't even funny. He stated himself that the body doesn't look, it hasn't been there that long when he found it on shore face down. And it didn't appear to be bloated as it should have been because it was in the water. Supposedly it had been in the water for 2 days. And he said that that body did not look like it has been there that long. Also, when Nancy Grace asked him, he said himself, they asked him, did you turn the body over? No, because something happened. He said, now what appears to be the situation basically saying that something happened. The incident. She said, what incident? So are you saying that something happened? Then he tried to cover it up. There's a lot of stuff that's going down. The young man that said, Christian, whatever the name, Christian, that doesn't seem like it would be Nolan saying, give me my mother phone. I'm just going to say it straight out. What the are you doing? He going to get himself caught up. They're going to blame you because you're just a cover-up. So everybody who's speaking, you shouldn't have said a mother thing until they subpoena your ass. You just wanted to get your 15 minutes of fame, you dumbass. And guess what? You're going to be locked up and let me out. You're going to be subpoenaed real soon, all of y'all. So they're just getting information. A lot of people are saying, Al Sharpton and Ben Crump shouldn't said what they said at the funeral yesterday should have because it was supposed to be said. Okay? A lot of people didn't get what Al Sharpton was talking about Cain and Abel. Cain unalived Abel because he was jealous. Somebody unalived Nolan because they was jealous. Okay, and another thing is they got that autopsy and they know what happened to their baby. And they seen their baby that what the shit going down. So y'all figure that shit out. And this is crazy. How they're saying, this didn't happen. He could have drowned. No. They know what they did. I feel that they did not want to let him on that boat. I don't know. And something happened. Then there's another video that's going around with this white guy saying somebody did something to Nolan. He wouldn't have did that. I would have beat the to me on the island. Whatever, the white guy said that he would have beat the person's ass that was talking. They did something to Nolan. But we're, again, allegedly, but Nancy Grace was on his ass. So if you guys can go look at Nancy Grace's video interviewing the guy who found Nolan Wales' body, that motherfucker got a lot of holes in his story. And Nancy Grace caught
another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets
Now, just so you guys know, they still haven't started yet, beloveds, but this is at Nolan's homegoing service, okay? This is at the repast. Those are his friends and teammates.
Roughly ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward.
Okay, so we're still waiting. I guess they're getting everything set up. Hopefully it won't be long. While we're waiting, I'm going to go to a couple of clips from that from the interview from the interview that Officer Tatum did. I'm going to go because he posted a couple of clips I see on his Instagram. Okay, so I'm going to share those. Again, I'll be using an overlay. Okay, they still haven't started yet, so we have a few more minutes.
Y'all pretty much having a good time.
Of
Just
course.
like anybody would imagine, 18-year-olds, probably
Right.
20-year-olds,
Right.
college students,
Right.
out on the island,
Right.
women. You probably had alcohol,
Of
so
course,
y'all having
yeah.
a good time.
Yeah, of course.
And so where's Nolan in this? You know, you guys out there, the friend groups out there, 3 boats full of people that came out there that seem to be the closest friend group.
Right.
Where's Nolan in this in comparison to where you and others are at?
Well, you know, I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. They in a group. I was not focused on anyone solely, like looking and pointing anyone out, because there's so many people out there. I mean, I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, you know, everybody my age and even people older than us were, you know, over there. Like, I mean, it was just a regular thing. You know, we're all used to this. We've been out to the islands before. My buddies don't just go out to the island on 4th of July, but they go out, you know, every weekend. Like,
Okay, so I'm going to go back to that. I'm sorry. I thought they were starting. I saw the commercial playing, but now they're right back, having us to wait. Okay, so let me just put that back on the screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm just trying to make sure we don't miss anything.
Imagine 18-year-olds, probably
Right.
20-year-olds,
Right.
college students,
right.
out on the island,
Right.
women. You probably had alcohol,
Of
so
course,
y'all having
yeah.
a good time.
Yeah, of course.
And so where's Nolan in this? You know, you guys out there, the friend groups out there, 3 boats full of people that came out there that seem to be the closest friend group.
Right.
Where's Nolan in this in comparison to where you and others are at?
Well, you know, I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. They in a group. I was not focused on anyone solely, like looking and pointing anyone out, because there's so many people out there. I mean, I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, you know, everybody my age and even people older than us were, you know, over there. Like, I mean, it was just a regular thing. You know, we're all used to this. We've been out to the islands before. My buddies don't just go out to the island on 4th of July, but they go out, you know, every weekend. Like, I fish the islands. I don't just, you know, fish.
Y'all pretty much having a good time.
Of
Just
course.
like anybody would imagine, 18-year-olds, probably
Right.
20-year-olds,
Right.
college students,
Right.
First of all, I want you all to pay attention to how he's acting as though he really wasn't that bothered with Nolan while he was out there. Mind you, he and Nolan both spent the night with a friend, according to him, the night before. But all of a sudden, he's acting like, oh, I was just hanging out with everybody, friends I hadn't seen in a while, and I wasn't just with any one particular person, trying to distance himself from Nolan. Did you all peep that? Because I sure did.
Y'all pretty much having a good time.
Of
Just
course.
like anybody would imagine, 18-year-olds, probably
Right.
20-year-olds,
Right.
college students,
Right.
out on the island,
Right.
women.
Fish around Horn Island. I fish around Ship Island too. So I'm very familiar with the islands. And I feel like it was just a big, I talked to Nolan, and, you know, Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And I mean, Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him. We had just regular conversations, and, you know, Nolan was making me laugh. I had a couple conversations with Nolan and Javon, Nolan and my buddy James, Nolan. And I mean, I could tell you, I mean, I talked to Nolan a couple times, but it wasn't like I was strictly sitting there talking to Nolan the whole day. I mean, there was hundreds of people I knew out there. Fish around Horn Island. I fish around Ship Island too. So I'm very familiar with the islands. And I feel like it was just a big, I talked to Nolan, and, you know, Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And I mean, Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him. We had just regular conversations, and you know, Nolan was making me laugh. I had a couple conversations with Nolan and Javon, Nolan and my buddy James, Nolan, and I mean, I could tell you, I mean, I talked to Nolan a couple times, but it wasn't like I was strictly sitting there talking to Nolan the whole day. I mean, there was hundreds of people I knew out there. Fished around Horn Island, I fished around Ship Island too, so I'm very familiar with the islands, and I feel like
Clearly, he wasn't hanging out with Nolan, according to him, which I don't believe. Okay? Which I absolutely don't believe. Trying to distance himself for a reason. Yeah, exactly. Barry says, Barry called him a lying demon. Okay? I mean, why is he all of a sudden coming out with this interview other than to try to cover his tracks or to try to quell suspicion and any accusations that may be coming after this autopsy report, if you ask me? I'll be glad when they get started. I'm anxious to find out. Aren't you all? Don't we all want to know? Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Okay, so let me see here if I have any other. Hold on. The anticipation is growing. Let's go to another video clip while we wait.
The black community is over. I'm telling you, you're not gonna just be able to treat our people. You're not gonna just be able to treat our people the way y'all been treating us, man. Look, y'all in our community, bro. Hold on, what's up?
It's time to affect their economics. You don't hurt these by beating their ass, you hurt them by hurting their pocket. That's what we about to do. Black love.
Well, we need to talk to the owner. I'm nervous, huh? We just need to talk, brother. You don't want to talk, we'll stand here. Y'all acting real scared right now. Y'all acting real scared right now. Y'all acting real scared right now. We need a conversation.
This ain't about the police. This
Y'all won't wait for the police when y'all was smacking somebody upside the head. Hey, motherfucker, don't brush me off. Don't brush me off. Don't brush me off. Y'all still got time to play the lottery. We asking y'all, could y'all leave the store right now? We asking y'all, could y'all leave the store right now? The store is temporarily shut down. Hey, brother, did y'all not hit somebody upside the head, man? Where? Go get him. Go get him. Bring him in there right now. Bring him in here right now. Hey, the disrespect in the black community is over. I'm telling you, you're not gonna just be able to treat our people. You're not gonna just be able to treat our people the way y'all been treating us, man. Look, y'all in our community, brother. Hold on, what's up? Oh, you get mad, huh? Y'all talk a lot of about us every day, don't y'all? Y'all talk a lot of shit about us every day, don't y'all?
Every day.
You mad as hell too. I love you. I love you, cutie pie. You mad as hell too. You mad than a bunch. Yeah, you like mad. Guys. You was probably one who did it.
Right. Tough guy. Hey. They don't respect us, brother.
Hey, don't even say it. How about? Can you come here, brother, please? Come here, Whistle Man. Come here.
Come here. Right.
Come here, Whistle Man.
Right.
Now, do y'all remember this brother here?
That y'all beat up.
It's just a question. I mean, we asking you to look the police in the building, brother. They here. There's an officer right here.
You're right, okay, you're on speaker. You're on speaker.
Yeah, I followed you to everybody, from the baby to the old man. I followed you for him.
This is the Whistle Man. This is Whistle Man. Hey, listen to me. Listen to me. Let me talk. I came here last Friday at 7 o'clock. I was standing in line to buy a pack of cigarettes. And a lady behind me came in and she liked my pocketbook and she said how much they is. I told her and she bought 2. And then 2 of your workers behind the counter told me to get the out of your store. And I told them I'd leave after I put my money in my pocket because it was 7 o'clock. Let me finish telling my story. I told him I'd leave after I put my money in my pocket. Then he told me again to get the store. And I told him I'd leave and I put my money in the wallet. Then 2 of your workers came out behind the counter. One stood in front of me where I couldn't go out the door. And the other one went behind me and hit me in the back of my head.
Do we got your attention now? Do we got your attention now? Does y'all think we playing games? Do we got your attention now? Does y'all think we playing games? Say law! Do we have your attention now? I think we do. Bring us a black ball! Bring us a black ball! Say law! I'm black and I'm proud! Say law! I'm black and I'm proud!
Well, it's safe to assume they won't be trying that again. Okay, sitting there acting like they didn't do anything, and that man said they went upside his whole head. Okay, went upside his head. I mean, they could have just told him or just waited for him to leave. Can't be putting your hands on people. Now, they said they were going to be starting in about 2 minutes ago. Okay, I'm still waiting. They were telling everyone to take their seat. Aren't y'all so curious? Because I sure am. Queen of Montague said they're starting in 2 minutes. Yeah, they said that, beloved, 2 minutes ago. Okay. Please pay attention. All right. Thank you, Faith, for becoming a new YouTube member, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. You know, I guess them getting Officer Tatum's raccoon self, I guess them getting him to sit down with Warren is supposed to legitimize him. It's supposed to validate whatever he says. Okay, is that the gag of it all? Because like I tell you all, this is what they always do. They get some raccoon to come out and spew their own rhetoric for them so nobody can say they're racist. That's the play. Okay, same thing the other day when they had Officer Tatum on News Nation, okay, trying to debate Teslin. Okay, that's all that was. Thank you, Mr. Elevation. Mr. Elevation just gifted 5 memberships to the Queen's channel. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you and your generosity. Peace, love, and blessings. You all make sure that you all thank Mr. Elevation. Okay, specifically those of you who benefit from those memberships he just purchased. Okay, I can hardly stand it. What is taking so... Juju is going in on Officer Tatum, said he is the biggest... Hold on, where's that comment? He's the biggest and dumbest raccoon on earth. Okay, Gregory said stomach's doing flip-flops. Mine are too. I can't wait. Oh my goodness, what are they going to tell us? Jay McClellan said Tatum lost his black card years ago. He sure did. Did he ever even have one, beloved? I have several questions. Hold on, let me look up something real quick. Let me see here. What is the hold up? So while we're waiting, I'm going to play that young woman's prayer. You all remember that prayer that we listened to that time and the devil was trying to stop her from praying? I'm going to play that prayer right now.
Have y'all seen this video? Watch this one right here.
Y'all, I am not lying. 4 different times I have recorded this video. Twice I pulled over on the side of the road, pulled back on the road, only to discover my camera stopped working while I was filming. Just now I filmed it again and went and looked, and it was never recording, but I hit record before I put it up. I don't even know if it's recording right now. Matter of fact, you're recording right now. You bow your little heads, close your little eyes. Heavenly Father, the warfare is huge. God, the warfare is big. God, the world is heavy. Lord, I ask that you fill us with your Holy Spirit. Strengthen up your army. God, we're all walking through this battle right now in this world that is set up to make us feel like we wake up failing. God, I ask that you keep our eyes on you. You told us that the pursuit of money was the root of all evil, not because money is evil, but because when we take our eyes off of you and your plan, we lose sight of what it is you want us to do. We start walking in the chaos and the darkness that is the world. So I ask you, God, again, fill us up with your Holy Spirit and remind us that you are in control. Some of us are looking at bills higher than we've ever seen.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Check your network connection and try again.
Some of us are looking at bank accounts sitting at less money than we've ever seen before, Lord. Some of us are looking at fear. And I'm asking you right now, God, to strengthen your army. And we are that. We are the chosen. We are the small. And you said it in your word, Lord. You said that the small would be great. Lord, you said it yourself. You sent your son down to remind us of the army that we can be for you. God, I'm asking you to strengthen us right now. Keep us on this path of righteousness for you. God, you cannot be defeated by the world. The world cannot have its hand over you, so it cannot have its hand over me. I walk through this world just like I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I fear no evil. God, my eyes are on you. I'm asking you to strengthen your army, to show us what it is that you want, and then send us on our way. I thank you and I praise you in every circumstance. In Jesus' name, amen. Send this to your mama. Send this to your friend. Save it and listen to it again when it feels heavy. Don't you stop fighting. And don't you let this world have you again. You crawled out of that darkness to seek him. And you found him. And you're on the path. And it's hard. I know it's hard. I know it's heavy. Don't you stop. Don't you give up now. I love you.
No weapon formed against me shall prosper. No, it won't work. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. It won't work. Said God will do what he said he would do. He will stand by his words. He will come through. No weapon.
All right, there have started. Here we go. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
President of Marketing Communications with the NAACP. We are here because a demand was made. A demand for transparency, a demand for answers, and a demand for ultimate justice on behalf of Nolan Wells. And that demand must be honored. Amen. For that, we are honored to pause even for a moment to respond accordingly here at our national convention. Momentarily, you will hear from renowned civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump, who will provide updates on the findings of the independent autopsy that was conducted in the death of Nolan Wells. Immediately following that, we will take questions from credentialed media. We'll attempt to answer as many questions as we can. However, we want to be respectful of the fact that we do have additional programming that is going on to conclude our convention today as well. So we're asking that all press and media, if you're asking questions, please be concise, give your name, give your media credential, and we'll go from there. But before he comes, we will have the leader of the NAACP, President Derek Johnson, to give opening remarks. President Johnson.
Good morning. Good morning. Far too often our young people are confronted with challenges, and many jurisdictions and states don't take those challenges serious. We cannot allow another individual, particularly a young Black man's death, go uninvestigated. We have seen this happen over the years, not only in Mississippi, but across the country. It is unfortunate that our young people only seek to enjoy life, and as a result of participating in activities, no longer have life. For the NAACP, we take this and many other cases serious because every person matters. I want to thank the Mississippi State Conference, particularly Alitra Perryman for working with the family and supporting the family on the onset. Because it's difficult to lose a loved one. It's even more difficult to navigate a process when all eyes are on you. And the pressure of balancing between grieving and navigating is upon you. And so for the ACP family, this is our role, is to step in, to support when the families have an issue like this, and the local officials seem not to hold people accountable. It's unfortunate when you see news reports and law enforcement officials are repeating what individuals are saying as opposed to investigate the individuals who gave you the information, because you don't know who was involved or not involved. Amen. And so narrative matters in this case. And we're saying that in Nolan Wells' situation, the narrative should not be it was an accident before there was an investigation. The narrative should not be the words of individuals who went on a boat to the island with him, but they came without him, but with his cell phone, and you don't investigate those individuals. We're not accusing anyone of anything other than the state of Mississippi and local officials. We're accusing them of being derelict in their duties. To follow up and to ensure that regardless of what happened, that there was the proper investigation so that this family and that community could be assured that if anyone was involved, they would be held accountable. And if it was truly an accident, that the families will have the necessary answers that any family deserves in this situation. I want to bring to the podium Attorney Benjamin Crump, a friend of mine who have stepped in to take the case and in support of the family to ensure that they get the answers that they deserve, and that local officials and anyone involved will be held accountable to this family, to that system, because we are all parents, siblings, to loved ones who should not be confronted with this reality. Attorney Crump.
Thank you very much, President Derrick Johnson, for your leadership, for the leadership of the Mississippi Conference of NAACP, and being there during the homegoing services to help the family go through what no parents want to go through. Thank you to Chairman Leon Russell, my longtime mentor from Florida, who helped raise so many of us. Thank you for always being there, Chairman Russell. As President Johnson said, I'm Attorney Ben Crump, representing the family of Nolan Wells, but it's not just me, it is a team effort of incredible, dedicated lawyers and investigators and paralegals. Attorney Lisa Park, attorney who you'll hear from in a few minutes, Attorney Eric Hertz, Attorney Gary Buchan, Attorney Camila Moore, Cliff Jones, Jared Presson, Alan Williams, our whole team of people who are committed, as I said, President Johnson, on this ferocious search for the truth of what really happened to Nolan Wells. But before we begin to discuss the intricacies of the preliminary findings of the independent autopsy, we think it would be appropriate for you all to hear from the people who knew Nolan Wells best, so they can thank you themselves and tell you about the trials and tribulations that they have been enduring since July 4th. July 4th would never be the same for them. I bring to the podium Nolan Wells' mother and father, Christine and Elmore. Please give them a warm NAACP welcome.
First of all, I want to say thank you all so much. Thank you to President Johnson as well as Chairman Russell. This has been a difficult journey. Losing a child,
Playing on iPhone? Now you can play Unlocked on PC with Google Play Games. Unlock bigger screens and better controls.
Nolan, who brought so much joy and light and life to everyone. You don't find too many genuine people like him. So to lose that light at such a young age under these circumstances has been absolutely difficult, which is why we've gone this route. There's so many people out in the public asking all of these questions, but the only question that we have is what happened to our son. That is the only question. We have consistently been degraded by the public. There's been questions about our parenting, our GoFundMe, this, that, and other. I've been called a racist. I am a healthcare provider, and I take my job very seriously. I love everyone. And it's been difficult for us, but we are leaning into our faith, leaning into one another, also leaning into all of you. There are not enough thank yous, not enough appreciation for what you guys have done for us. And we do. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. And so it is our hope that our local authorities will do what they need to do, because us having the preliminary autopsy results and hearing nothing from them, it's heartbreaking and it's concerning, which again is why we are here, why we have asked for this help. So again, thank you all so much for your support. We appreciate you, we really do.
Every day I wake up, it's a new challenge. Knowing that a part of me I will never talk to, I will never hold, I will never play around with or get mad at, it's not here anymore. Nolan brought a lot of joy to our family. He was the wittiest one out of everyone. The clown. He loved to put in the work because he wanted to be the best. He wanted to make me and his mother proud, and we were so proud of him just for being the person that he was. He was loving. All his teachers knew him, but loved him. He walks in the room, his aura, you're automatically drawn to it. Never met an enemy. And if they were, they would eventually be friends, because they will eventually bond, and it's gonna be hard. He should be at football practice right now. Calling me after practice, Dad, I made this play, or I made that play, or I get a text with 3 or 4 videos of him doing this, running this route, making this block. And what you think? What you think I should do? And I will give my honest, because I always tell them, if anyone is going to be totally honest with you, it's going to be me. And it's not because I'm being mean, but people outside of your family are going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to know to make you better. It's going to be hard for our family from here on out. And like I said, every day is a challenge. We're gonna miss our son. And like my wife said, we just want honesty. We want to know what happened to our son, because the things that you're telling us, that's not the character of our son. We know our son. I understand, our children would do things that, that would kind of dumbfound us sometimes, but the things that we're being told, that wasn't Nolan. So please keep us in your prayers, keep him in your prayers. And we're gonna keep pushing and fighting until we find answers. Thank you guys for your love and support.
Condolences again to the family. Mysterious, thank you for gifting the channel a membership. I appreciate you, beloved.
Thank you
Peace,
so
love,
much,
and blessings.
Christine and Nolan. Christine and Elmore, Nolan's mother and father. Before we start to go over the preliminary findings from the independent autopsy, we will hear from Attorney Lisa Park to tell you about who was the forensic pathologist who conducted the autopsy. Attorney Lisa Park.
Thank you. Dr. Roger Mitchell could not join us today, but we felt it important before we reveal and unfold this report that you understand who conducted this autopsy. Dr. Roger Mitchell is a physician and board-certified forensic pathologist with 2 decades of experience. He currently serves as the president of the National Medical Association, which is the oldest and largest group of Black physicians in the U.S. Most recently, he also served as president of Howard University Hospital, chief medical officer of the Howard University Faculty Practice Plan, and chair of the Department of Pathology. Before joining Howard, he served as chief medical examiner for Washington, D.C. from 2014 to 2021, and is later as interim deputy mayor for the Public Safety and Justice. Dr. Mitchell has conducted and managed thousands of autopsies and is nationally recognized for his work at the intersection of medicine, public health, and justice. And for this case, we sought out the very best, and we are proud to be working with the very best.
Thank you, Attorney Park. I again want to express our gratitude to President Johnson, Chairman Russell, and the NAACP, because civil rights is more important than ever in the United States of America today. And so we thank you for the civil rights leaders stepping up to say that our children's lives matter now more than ever. And I want to thank all of you for getting up 8 in the morning. If people could see how many people are gathered here, they would say, you all are truly blessed to have the support of America, Christine and Elmore. And I want to thank the media for covering this matter, because they don't always cover when our children are taken away from us in highly unquestionable ways. And I do understand there's a lot of news going on in America today. I woke up to them saying LeBron James is going to announce where he's going to play basketball next year. But I'm very happy that the media said this story is just as important. just as important. And I'm sure LeBron James and Rich Paul and, Stephon Curry and Draymond Green, Jaylen Brown, Embiid, Maxey, Giannis, Bam, and many other players in the National Basketball Association will all agree that our children's lives are far more important than where LeBron or any other player will play next year. And so that's why I thank you all for being here, because this news is as important as any news in the United States of America, finding out why is Nolan Wells dead. And I want to thank you all who have called the call center. I want to thank Reverend Al Sharpton. I want to thank Mr. Tyler Perry. I want to thank Mr. Terry Owens for putting up the $125,000 reward for anybody out there who have information so we can get to the truth of what happened. I mean, any videos, and we've gotten so many videos, President Johnson, from that day from young people, and we want them to have the courage to come forward with the pictures, what you heard. I know people said there were a lot of disturbances out there. Some believe it involved Nolan. All of those things are important to get to the truth of what happened. The fact, Christine, that the United Cajun Navy are so forthcoming. The fact that they told us, we haven't heard from any of their local officials, that Nolan was found face down, fully clothed. Well, that's significant to us because the last time we saw him on the videos, he was without a shirt. So at what point did he put on a shirt? Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something. There were almost 300, 400 people. Somebody knows something. So, Scott X, we're trying to just make sure people understand that you can call the Nolan Wells tip line at bencrump.com. We will gladly listen to you, take any information as we try to put together this puzzle of what happened to Nolan Wells. And today, we're gonna add some more parts to this puzzle because my legal team and I, we stand for truth, no matter who it implicates or who it exonerates. We stand for justice, no matter who it convicts or it acquits. Yeah, and we stand for transparency because we got eyes that can see, and we don't need government officials having to narrate it for you and me. We can see it for ourselves. Transparency. That leads to the truth. The truth is the foundation for accountability and justice. And that's all we're seeking, as Christina Elmore said from day one. So with that, and Christina Elmore, if you all want to sit, we're about to go through this autopsy, and I know it may be a little emotional. Thank you, you're welcome to stay. got the pointer? Let's go through this. How does the
One Box, thank you for your super chat donation, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings.
As we begin to present the preliminary findings of the autopsy, we want to especially thank Mr. Colin Kaepernick for not thinking it robbery to pay for the autopsy. This is the first chart. Let's go with the first one. Put it right up. So, where's the? I need the second page. That's the real one.
Give me Nolan's picture. Give me Nolan's picture.
An autopsy will be provided for the media at press@bencrump.com. And so, Mr. Jones, keep that. I don't need this one. I just need this one here. Pull this closer. So, pull this up here. So, Dr. Roger Mitchell, board certified forensic pathologist, performed a preliminary report on the death of Nolan Xavier Wells. He conducted and presented this report on July 19th, 2026. Preliminary report, second autopsy, death of Nolan Xavier Wells. Cause of death, undetermined, pending investigation. And we'll explain that as we go through the report this morning. The manner of death, undetermined, pending investigation. Statement of examination. This forensic pathologist was retained to perform a second autopsy examination on the body of Nolan Xavier Wells. Name of decedent, Nolan Xavier Wells. Age, 18 years old. Race, black. Gender, male. Date of death, unknown. Second autopsy date was performed on July 10th, 2026. Preliminary findings. And this is significant. Focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region. He said the etiology is unknown at this time. He said the body was received after the initial autopsy. He said the body had marked decompensation. He said coronal incision of the scalp, brain removal, Y-shaped incision of the anterior torso, and he talked about the organs being removed, as is common, accompanied in the body cavity. And that when you have an autopsy, the organs are removed from the body and they are dissected and examined, and then they are put back in a bag within inside the body. So when they're buried, their remains will all be with them. But in this occasion, if there's going to be a second autopsy, then the organs are put in the body cavity so the second pathologist could be able to examine the organs as well. very significant for Dr. Mitchell was that the anterior inner neck structures were absent, not received with the body. And we'll explain that in just a minute. And then it talks about the additional procedures performed during the second autopsy. And we'll go into the paragraphs on that there because he explains it better in his narrative. So where's the first page of the discussion? Not the diagram yet. You can keep the diagram over there. Move this back, Lisa. So he talks in the preliminary discussion opinion. This forensic pathologist identified several limitations during the second autopsy that create barriers to establishing a definitive cause and manner of death for Nolan Xavier Wells. And that's important. He talks about the fact that we didn't get to see the body when it was first recovered, like the medical examiner working for Mississippi would have seen it. He talked about the second autopsy performed on Nolan Wells revealed marked decompensation or changes. Marked decompensation can obscure the presence and absence of bruising on the skin surface, especially during a second autopsy examination. What he's saying, because the body was so decomposed that you couldn't tell if there was bruises or abrasions on the body when he received it on the 10th of July. For these reasons, additional dissection procedures not performed during the first autopsy examination were performed to rule out potential blunt force injuries responsible for the death. These procedures included facial dissection, posterior head and neck dissection, dissection of the ribs, the pelvic, dissection of the subcutaneous and deep soft tissue, dissection of the back, the buttocks, the arms and legs. He did all of this to rule out things. He ruled out there were no fractures or deep tissue injuries identified. This was very important because he wanted to be very thorough and very transparent, because transparency is the key to getting to the answers of why Nolan Wells is not with us. So he did that there and was very straightforward, very open, very open. He says, however, dissection of the back of the head during the layered posterior neck dissection revealed a 12 by 8 inch focal area of red discoloration in the deep soft tissues overlaying the occipital bone. And he talked about how he found red discoloration when he cut open into the back of his head towards the occipital bone, and he saw the red discoloration, and we actually saw the pictures of it. It's significant. You can't help but notice, why is this dark red here in the back of his head?
Milani Baked Blush. I'm made of color. Not loud, not rushed. I am complex, vibrant.
Report. He said the etiology of this finding is unclear. There are no lacerations of the overlaying skin nor fractures of the underlying skull. These findings are inconclusive for perimortem injury due to both the extensive decomposition and the absence of associated injuries. This finding, however, is significant enough to be highlighted in this preliminary report for further investigation. It is important to reiterate that the finding could not have been observed in the first autopsy because the posterior head and neck dissection were not performed. He said another limitation, move this back here. Another limitation faced by this forensic pathologist was the absence of the anterior internal neck structures. The trachea and the laryngeal cartilage, the thyroid horn, and the hyoid bone were not received with the body. So he's saying that the throat was not received with the body when he got Nolan Wells' body in Washington, D.C. to perform the second autopsy. And so let's discuss that with what he said about that. He said, it is assumed that the initial pathologist retained these structures for additional evaluation. He said the retention of the anterior neck structures during an initial autopsy is a common forensic pathology practice. He was chief medical examiner for 7 years in Washington, D.C. And he said that if they had concern about throat or any fracture or compression of the throat, they too will hold them back. He doesn't know why they held the throat back, but he said the throat was not with the body of Nolan Wells when he received it in Washington, D.C. to perform the second autopsy. He said, nevertheless, a posterior neck dissection performed without review of the anterior neck structures is incomplete. Therefore, this pathologist cannot rule out injury to the neck as a contributor or a cause of death. He said he would need to have the medical examiner in Mississippi allow him to review the throat. That's why he said his autopsy is undetermined pending investigation. Remember, it's about transparency. Because the initial autopsy rightfully removed and dissected each organ, there are additional limitations inherent in the second autopsy of Nolan Wells. The most significant of the limitations was the inability to directly observe the airway and the lungs for water and directly observe the stomach for gastric contents. He said it is very significant as to what the initial forensic scientists who got to review the body when it was recovered. We have heard from our call center people saying the body wasn't waterlogged. Well, we need to know those things. But unfortunately, because the body was decomposed and the organs have already been dissected, those are things we can only get from the initial autopsy. So therefore, again, the manner and cause of death is undetermined until further investigation. We are hopeful that the Mississippi medical examiner would give Dr. Mitchell an opportunity to see their photographs and their observations to the condition of Nolan Wells' body closer in time to July 4th. That is very important, and we have to continue to demand transparency, President Johnson.
Okay, let me just say something really quick. Wells Run Black, thank you for your contribution, beloved. Says, thank you, Queen. Let's brace ourselves. Thank you for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Red White Entertainment says, thank you, Queen, for continuing to bring us light. Our children need this. Justice for Nolan. Absolutely, beloved. You're welcome, and I appreciate you. Thank you for your words and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, let me say really quickly, he said something about the hyoid bone. Okay, now this bone is in the throat, and you know it doesn't usually, and it's very rare for this bone to be injured or damaged during a drowning. Fractures to the hyoid bone are predominantly associated with blunt force trauma to the neck, such as someone being manually strangled or hung. Okay, so please pay attention. Let's continue.
Awesome. In addition, the original toxicology results have not been received at the time of this report. And we continue to wait for the toxicology to come back because, again, that will be part of the investigation into.
Also, let me just say something else really quickly. He mentioned twice the occipital bone. For those of you who don't know, the occipital bone is the bone in the back of the skull. It's like in the center of the back of your head. Now, by the fact that he mentioned the occipital bone, I'm wondering if there was any sort of blunt force trauma, if maybe he was hit in the back of the head. Now, mind you, this could have happened in the water. Okay, if there was undertow, I would imagine, if he actually drowned. But with that all being said, that's also a possibility that he could have been hit in the back of the head, as far as I'm concerned. But let's continue.
Nolan Wells' autopsy by Dr. Mitchell. It is significant to note that it's many things that go into toxicology that only Dr. Mitchell would be able to opine upon, and medical experts can opine upon. And he feels the proper place to do that is before a grand jury in a courtroom. And so we would hope that the district attorney would present Dr. Mitchell before the grand jury as well. We want all relevant information to be heard by the grand jury. Lastly, in cases where a death has occurred in or around a body of water, this is important. Lastly, in cases where a death has occurred in or around a body of water with suspicion of drowning, it is important to confirm how that person entered the water. This is the crux of the matter. This information is especially important for those deaths of persons who can swim. As in the case with Nolan Wells, at the time of this report, this forensic pathologist does not know the condition of Nolan Wells. He did not know whether he was conscious or unconscious when he entered the water. He said that would be significant. He said he did not know whether he was forced into the water or unforced into the water. He said that would be significant. So he said the condition of Nolan Wells before he entered the water would be the crux of the matter. It would be of utmost importance to being able to determine a cause and manner of death. He said, definitive circumstances of death are required to determine the manner of death. For these reasons, this pathologist cannot rule out, and let me really call your attention to this. For these reasons, this pathologist cannot rule out if any intervening non-accidental factors contributed to or caused the death of Nolan Wells. Understand, he's saying based on the examination of the body, he cannot rule out foul play. That is significant. With the following questions still outstanding, number one, what were the circumstances that led to Nolan Xavier Wells entering the water? Number two, what was the body position when it was found? We know that a member of the United Cajun Navy said that he was face down and he was fully clothed. Number three, was there water in the airway? Remember, he talked about the lungs and the airways. Were they filled with water? Number four, is there any evidence of injuries to the anterior neck structure? We got the autopsy without his neck. We got the body without his neck at the time of the second autopsy. Number five, is there any evidence of any intracranial hemorrhaging? He said that is going to be very significant. Things that he could not observe at autopsy that the initial medical examiner would have been able to observe. Number six, was the composition of what was the composition of the stomach contents? He talks about that being important because when was he found? How long had he been in the water? How long had it been since his last meal? All those things become relevant factors when you're trying to do a thorough and impartial autopsy. And number seven, what are the toxicology report findings? He said the best classification again for the cause and manner of death for Nolan Xavier Wells is undetermined pending investigation. This forensic pathologist reserves the right to review and incorporate additional forensic pathology information into his opinion as it becomes available. He says the above opinions are expressed to a reasonable degree of medical certainty. Dr. Roger A. Mitchell, July 19, 2026. And we know that, as I said, this is only another part of the puzzle. And even though it tells us significant information, we still have more questions than we have answers at this time. And we will continue to press forward and persist, Christine and Elmore, with getting the answers to these questions. Because yes, we will persist, because as Christine and Elmore and Attorney Parker and I talked this morning, we know that there are so many conflicting stories. The fact that she said him being found face down, the fact that we have other videos where people who have called said that is Nolan, who is in some kind of dispute with others. We're looking at all of these things. The fact that the GPS tracking of the boat is being questioned by many. We're trying to dot every I and cross every T because we understand that when our children's lives are at stake, it matters. Not just what happened, but what we do in the aftermath of them being taken away from us. And just like the NAACP stood up when another tragedy in Mississippi taking the life of young Emmett Till, we will stand up for Nolan Wells. Just like the NAACP and civil rights leaders stood up when another Mississippi son was taken in Medgar Evers. We will stand up for Nolan Wells. And just like too many of our young people, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Botham Jean, Terrence Crutcher, Stephon Clark, Sandra Bland, Atiana Jefferson, Alton Sterling, Eric Gardner, George Floyd, Tamir Rice, the young people who I was trying to focus on. Gary, we stand up until we get the truth, until we get justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice.
Okay, with that all being said, in my opinion, the reason they held this at this press conference in Chicago was likely because that was the home of Emmett Till and Fannie Lou Hamer. Okay? And so that's likely why they held it in Chicago, in my opinion. And so anyway, let's continue.
For Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. We were asked if Christine and Elmore and President Johnson can come back and join us on the stage. And Trevon, we will have you coordinate questions and answers for us or President Johnson or Attorney Park and I. I will say this, as President Johnson comes to the stage, I was sharing this with him and Chairman Russell, Christine Clark. God knows we wish we had you at the Department of Justice now. Christine Clark. As I was sharing with President Johnson and Reverend Al and others, this is so important that we continue to talk about Nolan Wells and what happened to him, and that we get attention on him, because in getting attention on him, it brings attention, Cliff Jones, to other cases that are not getting their attention as of yet. But I'm so grateful to Christine and Elmore, because they said whatever we can do, not only to help our son, but to help these other young black boys who was killed the July 4th holiday. And I want to take a moment before we answer your questions to talk about two other young black men, both 18 years old, who were killed in extraordinary ways that are very similar to Nolan. President Johnson, 18-year-old Daniel Irvins went on a fishing trip, out on a fishing boat with two other young men. He was the only black. It is alleged that he ended up accidentally drowning, but his two white friends got his cell phone and threw it away, got his clothes and threw it away, and then went and deleted all of their text messages with him and social media. Sounds familiar? And they've only been charged with tampering with evidence. And his mother is crying out that they should be charged with murder, because if they would lie about his cell phone and his clothes and deleted messages, then they will lie about what really happened to Daniel Irvins. And then there's the matter of President Johnson, Christine Clark, of 18-year-old Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith, on 4th of July, was at a house party with about 10 other people. He was the only black person at the house. He somehow ends up shot in the head, dead. Some of the friends get rid of the gun. The police show up. They tell the police it was an accident. It was an accidental shooting, that they were playing Russian roulette. And Tyler Smith ended up getting killed. And apparently, Christine Clark, President Johnson, the police just took their word for it. His mother and grandmother are incensed. They asked the police, did you do a gunshot residue test on his hands? And the reason they said they had to call us, like Daniel Irvins and Nolan Wells' family, because the police told them, President Johnson, that there was no need to do gunshot residue on his hands or any of the other people in the house, because I don't understand this logic, but they said if they were playing Russian roulette, then all of them will have gunshot residue on their hands. So we don't need to do gunshot residue tests. It makes no sense whatsoever. So they are taking the word of these 10 people that your son just killed himself. And you don't have to worry about doing any investigation or testing forensically anything. Just take our word for it. Now, can you imagine in any 3 of these scenarios, had the survivors been young black men and they were with a young white man and he ended up dead, what kind of investigation would that have been? What kind of interrogation would that have been? Would they have ever been able to see the light of day until those questions were answered? Well, just like you would do a thorough investigation for your children, we want you to do a thorough investigation for our children. We don't want anything special. We just want equal justice. Equal justice. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Trevon to lead us in the final session.
We'll have a few questions. We have my colleagues on either side with microphones. Please announce your name and your media outlet if you have any questions. We're going to be quick because we have other programming going on in real time. We'll go here first.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everybody. Samantha Chapman, ABC7 Chicago. You just unveiled a comprehensive outline of the independent report. Can you summarize for our viewers, because there's a lot to take in, a lot of information. So in summary, can you succinctly tell us what we can take away from this report? And also, if you can provide more details about the neck?
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people behind me gasping when
Yeah.
that detail was mentioned.
Yeah, let me try to be very comprehensive. As Dr. Roger Mitchell said, that the focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region, is significant because he cannot determine why you have that red discoloration in the back of his brain. That's significant. He also talked about
Mike Collins voted against releasing the Epstein files, even after he knew they exploited 14-year-old girls for sex. John Ossoff is going after the powerful and passed a law to stop child sex trafficking.
they held it back. He's not drawing any conclusions, but he said he would want to examine it if there were neck fractures or compressions to the neck. And he thinks that's significant to know at autopsy. The reason he said he would hold it back when he was medical examiner, because he thought that there may have been some issues with neck fractures. The last thing that is significant is what we said before about him, the condition of his body when he went into the water. Was he conscious or unconscious? Was he forced or unforced into the water? He said those things are very significant. But he started off talking about this red discoloration in the back of his head is something that was of great concern to him. Thank you. Trayvon.
We'll go here.
Daryl Denard with Chicago Speaks on V103. What specifically are you calling for from Mississippi authorities in terms of transparency, but more importantly, investigations?
I know President Johnson is from the state of Mississippi, and the Mississippi Conference president is here. They're calling, as we are, for a fair, impartial, comprehensive investigation. When Nolan's parents heard the sheriff say there's no foul play at the beginning of the investigation, that is cause for concern, major concern. You haven't even investigated, but you're saying no foul play. And so we want them to dot every I and cross every T. You know, we had a meeting with the district attorney, and we expressed to them about our lived experiences. The fact, and you know, they said that's not what happens in her office, but we said we believe if the roles were reversed and there were 3 young black 18-year-olds and there was a white 18-year-old who was with them and he ended up dead, we don't believe that those young black men would not have been interrogated to the full extent of the law. We believe that it would not have been a choice whether they were going to cooperate with law enforcement, if their lawyers and them were going to cooperate. No, they would have been held until they gave answers. They would have been held until they explained the cell phone in their possession. They would have been held until their cell phones have been examined. And so whatever you would do, had the roles been reversed, we want you to do the same thing for Nolan Wales.
We have time for one more question, and then we're going to have a prayer with our Religious Affairs Committee with the family. One more question here. My sister.
I'm Tiffany Walden with the Tribe in Chicago. I know that we're talking about a transparent investigation, but for families and people who are watching, can you kind of give a breakdown or a timeline to the best of your ability of the contact that you've had with Mississippi authorities or Ocean Springs authorities or the Cajun Navy? Have you all talked to them? Do they call you after the initial autopsy? Is it just radio silence from them? Do you have to call them? Can you kind of walk us through that process?
So the last time we actually spoke with local authorities, which would be the sheriff's department, was I think a day or two after his body was found. That was only initiated by me. I sent him a text message. I was like, hey, this is Christine, Nolan's mom. I just want to see if there are any updates. Basically, he called back. There were no updates. He's like, we're still interviewing. And again, my concern, and also my husband's concern, was it was not even an hour that his body had been removed. And the sheriff came out and said, this is, accidental drowning. We don't think there's foul play. Again, that is why we're doing what we're doing and why we're moving the way we are. Because I sat there and asked them, please take this case as if this is your child, your family member, your whatever. And they promised that they would, but when you make statements like that straight out the gate, that's an issue. We did meet with the DA. She did promise, transparency and all of this, all of that. However, damage has already been done because now that's the narrative that's being pushed by the general public, who again, know nothing really, only what they're hearing. At the end of the day, like I said before, any parent that would be in this situation, you would do anything to find out what happened to your child. And that is what we're here to do.
It is very important to note that this narrative, this suggestion that it was an accidental drowning, nothing to see here, is troubling, even if that's the case. There were 300 to 400 people out on Horns Island. You mean to tell me nobody saw anything? Nobody can tell us anything about what happened to one of the few black people that were out there on that island that day? It just doesn't add up. The fact that they're saying Nolan said that he would stay behind, but yet an 18-year-old kid would not want his cell phone if he was going to stay behind. The fact that, you have the young lady saying that he said he was going to get back on the boat with the boys, and then the boys saying no, he said he was going to stay behind and talk to her. If that was the case, don't you believe Nolan would have said, give me my cell phone, I'm gonna stay behind. Give me my car keys, I'm gonna stay behind. It's not adding up. And so we're gonna keep fighting and digging until we get the answers, the transparency, the truth, the accountability, and justice for Nolan Wells. 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 Justice for Nolan Wells.
Justice for Nolan Wells.
Justice for Nolan Wells.
Justice for Nolan Wells. We're going to have our Religious Affairs Committee join us quickly so we can have a quick word of prayer with the family, and that will conclude our press conference formally.
Good morning. It's a good morning in spite of all that we have heard. It's a good morning because we're here for justice. I'm Reverend Wendell Anthony from the Detroit branch and also a member of the National Board of Directors and a part of the Religious Affairs Committee, joined by colleagues who are here. I'm going to ask all of you if you would be so kind as to just link arms. Just link arms so that we can link ourselves around this particular moment and around this family. There's an old African proverb that says, those whom we love die only in the physical sense, but their spirit continues to live on in the will and determination of those whom they leave behind. Mr. and Mrs. Wells, I did not know your son, but I could tell from just looking at his photograph, I can feel the aura, the joy that you talked about. We all can experience and feel that. Ben Crump has chronicled the list of pain moments in our community by the deceased and by those who are now martyrs. We have been dying since 1619, still seeking justice. Pray with me. O Lord, our Lord, how very excellent is thy name in all the earth. We are here for but one reason, to answer the question, what does the Lord require of us? But to do justice, to love mercy, to even walk humbly with our God. Lord God, your people are here seeking justice. We're here for transparency. We're here for truth. You who are the way, the truth, and the life. We're here because of you. Lord God, how long must we continue to pay evil a toll at the gateway towards justice? How long must we see our children lie bleeding in the streets, in the sand, in the water, and the asphalt pavements of this nation that we built? Even on July the 4th, a day that serves a lesson in mockery and dichotomy, where we talk about independence, yet we are not independent from those who seek justice. Help us, Lord. Bless us right now. Bless this family. Cover this mother whose tears fall down her cheeks. Cover this father as he remembers his son, whom he taught and whom he mentored to play in life, but more importantly, to play the game the way it should be played in living. Lord God, we thank you so much. We've gone down the roads. They lied on Martin. They lied on Medgar. They lied on Malcolm. But more importantly, oh God, they lied on you. You who know about lies. We know that the truth shall eventually set us all free. Help us to get the truth, even in Mississippi. Oh Lord, help us to get the truth for our children. You know, like we know, there are more black boys in school than are in jail. We know, oh God, that there are more of us who are striving for the benefit of life rather than the poison from living. Oh Lord, how long will justice continue to lift up her brow so that she can see who is standing before us, so she can make a decision that is not in our interest, but in the interest of those who seem to be different from us. Help us, Lord. Don't we as a people bleed like everybody else? Don't we as a people need comfort like everybody else? Don't we as a people need justice like everybody else? Don't we as a people feel the pain when our children are taken from us like everybody else? Help America, Lord, because America has a problem. We don't have a problem. America has a problem. Fix the problem. In 250 years, we still seem to suffer from the same old problem. Fix America, oh God. Fix justice, oh God. Fix us, oh God. Fix Mississippi, oh God. Fix those who are standing at the gateway to break open the doors for justice. Not just us, but justice. Help us now, Lord. This is our prayer. This is our plea as we seek that which you have the power to give, and that is justice. The just shall live by their faith. The just shall live by their faith. And oh Lord, we know that when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Let's win in the name of justice. Let the people who love God, who are called according to his name for every good purpose, who believe in justice, say amen, amen, amen. Now give justice a hand praise. We praise God for justice. God bless you. President Johnson, I want you to know, and those who are here, there are 12,000 people who are looking at this press conference on YouTube. That was 30 minutes ago. There were 14,000 people who are looking at it on the Roots. That was 30 minutes ago. Ben Crump, this ain't no secret. The nation is looking for justice. Love you, man. Appreciate you. Bless you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, okay.
All right, folks. Well, there it is. There it is. I was hoping we would get something more conclusive, but really at the same time, not surprised that it's undetermined, specifically since the throat, the neck, and other vital things were missing. Okay. But, you know, like I said, it sounds to me like something nefarious happened, like maybe he was hit across the back of the head. I definitely think there was some foul play. Okay. I definitely think there was some foul play. All very interesting. So, with that all being said, I want to thank DCB for your contribution. I'm not sure what's going on with this. Hold on. It looks like my chat is frozen, beloved. It looks like the chat is frozen. So I wasn't able to put your super chat donation on the screen. Hold on just a second. What's going on here? Hold on. Give me a second, beloveds. Okay. So anyway, as I was saying, you said it's moving. Well, it was frozen for the longest. I don't know. All of a sudden now it's moving, I guess. Yeah, it was frozen for quite some time. I was trying to unfreeze it, but so anyway, what do you all think about the conclusion of the autopsy report? Listen, I'm not satisfied. I wanted to know exactly what happened, exactly what the findings were, but you know, here we are, undetermined. Undetermined doesn't sound like it was the manner of death was drowning. The cause of death may have been drowning, but the manner of death definitely sounds like something else. And remember what I told you all on yesterday, that drowning is a cause of death, not the manner. So because someone may have drowned, it doesn't tell you whether or not they drowned on purpose to self-delete, or whether or not they were possibly drowned by someone else, which would make it murder, or if it was accidental. So we just don't know. We just don't know. There's no conclusive answers as of yet. And I really, quite frankly, don't know how they're going to get to any, because that medical examiner in Ocean Springs, I definitely don't believe they're trustworthy. I mean, we've already seen the reports on this lady from before, you know, so, and as far as we know, there could have been some actions taken by the medical examiner in Ocean Springs to further prevent this one from finding anything significant. Okay, now I don't know if that is the case, but I'm just saying that could absolutely be the case. Okay, so please pay attention. Now, I will be back later, beloveds. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to conclude this broadcast. But before I do, let me put this super chat up here. I'm going to have to, I had to screenshot it, honey, because I don't know why it's not letting me show it on the screen. But DCB, I want to thank you, beloved. Said hands down, one of, if not the hardest working woman on this platform. Thank you, Queen. Well, thank you so much, beloved, for your kind words. I really appreciate you. Okay, I really appreciate you, and thank you for your super chat donation. Thanks to everyone who contributed to the channel, everyone who tuned in. Okay, hopefully somebody has consequences for this. Listen, I don't think it is just, yes, beyond expectations. The throat was missing. Absolutely. Okay. I definitely believe there was foul play. I mean, it just all sounds real strange to me that the occipital bone was damaged. There was damage to the hyoid bone. Okay. With that all being said, sounds very suspicious. Okay. Was he strung up? Okay. I mean, was he manually strangled? I don't know. But it just definitely doesn't sound like it was simply a drowning, okay, an accidental drowning at that. And here's the thing. What was that red mark on the neck? That's what I would also like to know. Could that have been something that was around the neck, like a rope or something? I have several questions. Okay. I have several questions. That was really bothersome to hear. And then also, let's not forget that they lied about the boat tow. They lied about the timeline. There's a whole bunch of things that are just not adding up. So that's right. Truth Brown said, I have several questions. You have several questions, and I do too. Okay, and I do too. So anyway, I'm going to conclude the broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Okay, come back later because I will be live again, probably around 4 o'clock. Okay, probably around 4 o'clock. So until then, I want to thank you all once again. All right, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
4th of July, fireworks in the sky, but the truth's still buried underground. Royal Low, yeah. They told me, wave the flag while the chains still clank. Told me, praise the names on the blood-soaked banks. Told me, freedom was born in the room full of men who wrote liberty down while they own human skins. So fuck your founding fathers and the myths they made. I don't pledge to the lie, I don't kneel to the page. You can light up the sky, I remember the smoke from the fields, from the ships, from the necks in the row. You call it independence, I call it selective. You call it patriotic, I call it protective. Of the story so fragile it cracks when questioned. Truth knocks once and they call it aggression. Yeah. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, yeah, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. They say, look how far we came. I say, look what it cost. Every courthouse got a shadow, every victory got lost. They gave statues to the takers, made heroes out of thieves. Put their faces on the money while the hungry couldn't breathe. Don't lecture me on freedom from a stolen land stage. Don't quote old documents with blood on the page. Don't tell me be grateful for a seat at the table when my people built the room and got treated unstable. You can't buy me through the truth, you can dress it in stars, but the anthem still echoes like chains behind bars. I don't hate the people, I hate the disguise. I hate when the guilty get praised as the wise. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, told her smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers. Let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide. No justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Don't call it hate when the wound speaks back. Don't call it division when our name was fact. Don't call it progress while the system still bites. Don't call it freedom if we still gotta fight. I'm not here for comfort. I'm not here to pretend. I'm here for the children who deserve better than this. Better than myths, better than chains, better than flags used to cover up pain. So this one's for the ancestors who never got rest, for the names never written but who gave us their best, for the mothers who prayed, for the fathers who ran, for the babies born fighting in the stolen man's plan. This is not disrespect, this is correction. This is not rebellion, this is resurrection. You can keep your parade, I keep speaking the truth. I don't need permission to remember my roots. Royal oak in the soil, truth in the flame. If the crown came with silence, then I don't want the name. But if the crown means standing when the whole world falls, then I'm 10 toes down till the real story's told. Fuck your founding fathers. I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile